Hello and welcome back to another episode of CamCast Radio Live. I am your host, Cameron Lewis. If you're tuning in, I got a treat for you today. I do have a good friend of mine, none other than hip-hop recording artist and R&B artist E.Quipped, straight out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull him in. What's going on, E.Quipped? Emil Gorgon, the fourth, fifth?
What's up, man? Stop.
How you doing?
Number 4. Yeah, number 4.
You are
good,
man.
Man. How are you, bro? Appreciate you having me
on. I'm good. Not a problem, man. You know I had to get you on. So go ahead and just kind of give everybody a little background about yourself. Tell us where you're from, et cetera, and whatnot.
Yeah, man. I don't know where I'm from because I'm an Army brat. So born in Tacoma, Washington, and then bounced around. Lived in Germany, Louisiana, Washington, Texas, North Carolina twice, Washington twice, but settled here like right when I was starting high school. So I guess technically I'm kind of from Greensboro. That's what I go with. This is where I've been the longest. So, sir.
Oh, okay, nice. Now, as I stated before you came on, basically, I got you on. You got this new album coming, but let's talk a little bit about your hip hop journey, your musical journey, period. Because I got some stuff I could pull up, but I ain't gonna do it. But yeah, as you can tell, me and this guy go. Just so you guys know, we gonna have fun on here because me and this guy go way back. We actually got like 21 years of history, so it's gonna be some clowning. As you can see, he has the entire Marvel universe in the background. He has the entire Marvel universe in the background and some.
That's
is that the Wrestlers on the wall?
That's Ninja Turtles and some WWE wrestling.
Okay, so he's mixing his DC and his Marvel, but
that's over there. That's the other side of the room.
Let's just talk a little bit about your musical journey, because you have an interesting history with music from what I remember. I'll let the people kind of get the story from you.
Yeah, man.
I would snitch.
Yeah. So from my point of view, I don't know what kind of revisionist history Cam is gonna try to break out. I'm just kidding. Like I fell in love with music, man. Like, I mean, as far back as I can remember, 3 or 4 years old. I remember listening to a lot of Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and then like the first hip hop that I was exposed to was Run DMC, LL, Fat Boys, and Kool Moe Dee. So, Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Wow.
So Will Smith for all the youngins out there that don't know, he used to be a rapper. But no, seriously. So I don't know, I must have been like 6 or 7 years old, and me and my buddy, Germany, we would make these raps on my dad's karaoke machine, because my dad had this little karaoke machine he used to practice on to sing at church for his solos and whatnot. And we used to make these songs on there. And my dad heard one song that I made that he was not particularly fond of. And he also found a tape I had recorded off the radio and was like, "We don't listen to that kind of music in this house, boy." And he meant secular music, not, he didn't mean rap music. He just meant we don't listen to, which was, like, yeah, okay. So that's when I completely dove headfirst into the gospel hip hop artists back then, which, was the main one, PID, Talk, Dynamic Twins. But like, that's literally where my allowance money went every single week, was to the the latest Christian hip hop cassette that was out. And I mean, I still have every one of them in my closet back behind me. It's funny because my mom used to make me, out of my allowance, she would make me tithe 10%, and make me save another 10% for whatever. Man, there was so many times I was like, God, like I'm just gonna tithe 5% this weekend because I really need like that extra $2 to be able to get this tape. So I was like, I know you understand, but so yeah, but started writing a bunch of stuff, you know, even back then, and then it kind of stopped until I guess near the end of high school, early college, which is when I met you. So it's where, you know, things really started rolling. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, let's talk about that then a little bit since we made it to that point. The history. Like, tell me about.
Yeah, man.
'Cause I know I just remember showing up at the studio and you were there one day, and I remember Ricardo Hicks had introduced me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was working at a hotel slash. I was working at the restaurant inside the hotel, and I was working at the hotel. And buddy Ricardo Hicks, who Rick's doing big things now, man, with his audiovisual company. I don't know if you've seen it online, but big shout out to Rick. So just talking with Rick about music in general, told him that I wrote a little bit, and he was like, "Really?" He's like, "I got this guy named Cameron that I need to introduce you to." So I remember he had me and you both over to his house one
Yeah.
afternoon, and I came over. I think I had maybe like 2 or 3 verses written total, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna show him." I'm like, and you know, I spit my verse. You know, you put out like Encyclopedia Britannica of like all the like songs you had read. It's like, check this out, and then you proceeded to rap for like 4 hours straight, and I was like, dang. Like I got, never mind. Like I was just kidding, man. I was just kidding. So yeah, that was a huge inspiration to me because I had just, you know, trying to kind of get, because I was still listening to a ton of Christian hip hop at that time. So like Cross Movement, T-Bone, even Gospel Gangsters, which just sounds hilarious to say out loud.
Right. They used to be a
it is what it is. Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, man. One of the members passed recently. I think it was last year. It was Mr. Solo, I think, passed away.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
So yeah, rest in peace, definitely. Yeah. But I started listening to some stuff on the radio again. I was out on my own. So I think it was Jadakiss and Eminem. I heard some of the stuff that they were doing and some of the like the patterns and the metaphors and just the way that they were like the tongue twisting, like just really flipping it. And it really inspired me to want to start writing again because I was like, I used to do that like a long time ago. I mean, I got tapes of me rapping when I was 9, 10 years old where I'm rapping fast like that. Not that it was like super deep or whatever, but you know, I always had kind of that style in me. So hearing that just like sparked something. And you know, fast forward and then I get to meet you and make it Sparks afterwards.
Yeah.
Sparks didn't want me to rap. I'm calling you out, Omega.
I'm trying to think if I already knew him when I linked us, because I think I already knew him, and then I was like,
y'all already had Remnant Flame, but he went home for the summer because he was at UNCG too.
That's right.
So Sparks had gone home for the summer, and you were without a rap partner, and then in steps a white guy for a minute, you know, to kind of fill in.
Right, that's right.
And then that's me and you started doing some stuff, started recording, and then next thing you know, you introduced me to Sparks at an event in Charlotte.
Okay.
And my first meeting with Omega Sparks was in a McDonald's parking lot, and he was wearing some house slippers or something. He stepped out of the car just acting crazy, and I remember that he didn't want me to rap. He was kind of like, nah, this guy still got to prove himself. And I was like, oh, come on, man. So I remember I got cut from the show. So it was just you and Jarrell that did that event. And I just kind of sat out in the audience like I'm here to support. So
Man,
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize. 20 years later, I don't remember that event. I don't remember.
Nah.
I was for you. That's
Oh,
all I
come
know.
on! It was with the. It was hosted by the WNBA player.
Was it
That
Dominique?
was like the big thing. The WNBA player.
Dominique Dawes?
I cannot remember
Not
who it
Dominique
was
Dawes. That's a
because
gymnast. No, Dawn
yeah,
Staley. It was Dawn Staley. I
no,
remember now.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
WNBA lit chick. Yeah,
Yep.
and she's doing big things now. But yeah,
Yeah, that was
because
that
that's what
was
they
the
got.
event.
The truth. The truth was there, right?
Do you remember? No, no, the truth wasn't at that one.
Are you sure?
No. Yep, I'm sure. Because you
All
went
right.
to another event where the truth was at, because you got his first CD before he was signed to Cross Movement. I remember you came, you were like super hype about like, you were like,
Yeah,
this guy named The Truth was crazy. You had his
yeah,
first album before he signed the Cross Movement. So
yeah, yeah. I remember.
yeah.
That's why I can't find it because I was looking for. I've been looking for that album
Yeah,
with
listen, you remember the the event in Charlotte with Jarrell? It was like all gospel and gospel hip hop. And then in the middle of the event, it was like this old white couple got up there. I don't know if you remember. And the guy had a guitar. And when they announced him, it's like it went from like Remnant Flame to it was like, ladies and gentlemen, the husband and wife team of the Mitchells. Everybody was like, what? Yes. They got up there and I was like, what? Like, what is happening? Like, oh, this is great.
That
So
was a
yeah.
Twilight
Yeah, man,
Zone
that was my
intermission.
first experience.
Wow.
So
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about because I remember I left Greensboro, and then you started with I left Remnant Flame basically, and then you started with was it Dennis and Jarrell with Eternal Praise, and I noticed that's
yeah.
when you started getting more into production, and I kind of want to get into that too because you've gotten like phenomenal with the
Yeah, buddy.
production. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Oh man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, so when you left, because you were the primary track maker, like I had just started kind of dabbling in it a little bit. Um, so you left and it was like, we had to get beats from somewhere. So I had my little drum machine that I made a ton of tracks on. And I had invited Dennis McCurdy. What up, Dennis? Um, he's like Dennis out in Texas or something now. So, but
Mm-hmm.
he went by Disciple MC at that time, and then he changed it to just Disciple. But I had invited him to come over, hang out with me and Jarrell. And next thing you know, he came back and was like, "Yo, I got like 3 verses written, for whatever songs." And so he was instantly a part of the group. And then yeah, I was doing a lot of tracks just on my drum machine. And then at the church I was at, they had got a Motif keyboard.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw it one Sunday. I was like, oh man, like really? So I went and talked to the praise and worship director, and I talked to the pastor, and I was like, can I please get my hands on that? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Just you can come in whenever, because I was working, I think, in serving in children's ministry or something. So we already had like keys to the church, and we were in there all the time anyway. So started working on, started producing a lot of stuff on there. Moving away from that little drum machine that I had at the time. So that's where that started. And it was kind of out of necessity again, because you had left for Maryland and military and whatever. And yeah, so we needed some beats.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow. It looked like it froze for a little bit over here. But yeah, man. So fast forward. Let's talk about your debut album. Like the events that led up to that. Because I remember when I came back from
okay.
the military, I went to I think I was visiting Evangel and my cousin Mike. I think he had gotten your CD and he was like, "Oh, what's up?" Telling me about your album. He was like, "You mentioned in the credits," and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, man, Abel shouted you out in the album," and I was like, oh, "Okay, that's what's up."
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I shouted you out even before that, because with Eternal Praise was the name of the group, with me, Omega Sparks, and Dennis. That's what we went with, was EP or Eternal Praise. And even on the second album, the mixtape that we dropped, I had a a little clip, a snippet of you before one of the songs. I can't remember what the name of the song. I could pull it up, but I had a clip of you on there. Just giving a shout out, and then of course in the credits on the Resurface was the first solo album. So after me and Sparks and Dennis, we had done like 2 albums, and I mean we were traveling all over North Carolina. We actually got flown to Louisiana to do an event. We were doing shows in Virginia. We got to open up for KJ52, Cross Movement, Mars Ill. So like all the big names in the like mid to late 90s, big names in Christian hip hop. We had opportunities to Mr. Dell. We had opportunities to share stages with some of those guys. And I mean, there was sometimes we were doing like 3-4 shows a weekend. And I think we all kind of got to a point of burnout, like complete burnout, because we were just like go. Because that's the only way really you could get your music out there. Back then, internet was just in its infancy stages, and so you couldn't just throw up a link on Facebook or whatever. MP3.com, I remember when that first came out, and we started trying to put our stuff on there. But so after we all went our separate ways, and everything was cool. Me and all those guys are still friends to this day. It was just we were kind of all in different places. I was married and had just had a kid, and both of those guys were still single at the time. So that's kind of
that changes everything.
different,
Right.
Yeah. So so I had started working on the solo album Resurface, and then that dropped in 2008, I think, somewhere there.
Yeah, that's when I got out the military.
And I produced pretty much the entire thing minus like 1 or 2 songs, just because I couldn't afford to, beat leasing wasn't really a thing back then. It was like you had to buy beats straight out, and nobody was trying to pay $500 a track, back then, especially when you make an album with 20 plus songs.
Your first album your first album was the greatest hits, huh?
That's what felt so weird with the last album. It's only 14 songs, and like a couple of them were like interludes or whatever with the newest project. And I was like, man, like this project is under an hour long, and that's the first time I've ever done something that's been that that short. But I remember Sparks telling me a while back ago he had to listen to my second album, Divine Connections and Collaborations. He had to listen to that one in segments because it was so long. He was like, bro, I rocked out with the first the first third of the album for like a month. Then I went to the second third of the album because it's just too much, too much. So, but now you got people dropping, 30 plus songs on iTunes. So, so.
Yeah, but the songs are shorter these days, though. That's the difference. Like
like under three minutes, man.
Yeah, it used to had to be at least 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Like that was it. And then now it's like I heard this one song the other day on the radio. Wasn't trying to, but I heard it, and it's like it was one verse, and then dude was gone. I was like, oh, okay. It was like 2 minutes and 20, not even that long. It's like, wow, the game is really changing. People drop a verse and be like, I got this new song out.
Yeah,
it's called one verse. Verse.
I remember when I first met you, like I didn't even know how to count bars or whatever. So you remember I was writing those ridiculously long verses. They'd be like 40, 50 bars long. You'd be like, dude, you got to cut it off, man. Like you just, like, what are you doing? And I remember you would spit your verse, and I'd be like that's it? Like, are we done? So I didn't realize that there was you should have a format or a pattern. I think I was listening to too much Wu-Tang at the time, like the their second album where they have Triumph, where it's no chorus, they just rap back to back for like an hour long. So that's probably what
where you got that from. That's what happened. And I was like, where does he get this? Like, 16. What are you doing? Then when you did, you was like, all your verses were like 24. I was like, man,
so definitely credit you to helping me hone my craft or whatever, reel it in a little bit. Cause, especially now I'm like, man, I might do an 8-bar verse for like the second or third verse, call it a rap. So,
Or do like Jay-Z did on that old Drake album where he did like 2 bars and he was like, bye.
yeah.
He literally dropped down like da 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 da. It's like, what kind of,
It's like, I
what
got
kind of
paid, I'm
verse is
good.
that?
You tell me how
But
many
yeah,
I had to write. Yeah.
right. So let's talk about
Yeah,
the new album because that's the main reason why I got you on here. We want to promote that, get that out here.
yeah, man.
It's called
Appreciate you.
it's called Minus Love. Tell me a little bit about the concept behind the album.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's basically the entire album is based on First Corinthians chapter 13.
Mm-hmm.
Paul talking about if I can have faith to move mountains, but if I don't have love, then what use am I? So believe it or not, because it's actually obviously my least religious quote unquote album that I
Mm-hmm.
put out, but still, if you if you know the meaning behind most of what I'm talking about on the album, that is the purpose of the album. Especially you listen to track 1, you hear that Minus Love Part 1, you can hear that all throughout that song. Is First Corinthians 13. So
Right.
excuse me.
Did you freeze up?
Maybe, I don't know. Did you freeze
Oh.
up? Yeah, I stopped talking. Did you have? I didn't
Oh,
know
okay.
what was next.
Oh no.
That
So
was
just
so that's what inspired it. I was literally I was in a church service, and the pastor was actually talking about um, minus love. He was preaching about Paul in First Corinthians 13, and he actually said minus love in the sermon, and I heard it, and I was like, oh man, that's a hot idea for for an album, a nice concept. So I think I had already released. I might have released Wake Up already at that point.
mhm.
That was kind of my first like shift, or my first kind of getting my my feet wet as far as for quote unquote like more like R&B pop type stuff. Of course, the second verse, still rhyming or whatever. But yeah, so that's where that came from.
So you're kind of because I remember you had told me too though, like you had always kind of wanted to do this type of album because this is more R&B ish than you
Yeah,
rapping. You are rapping on there. And you do have rap on there a lot, but still it's
yeah,
more melodic. I guess I would say.
yeah, and like all my solo albums, like I've always had like where I might have kind of flirted around with like the harmonies and melodies and a chorus or like a refrain or whatever. But yeah, I had always wanted to do like a more like R&B genre type album. I almost like when I first started working on it, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna have any features on it. I'm not gonna have any like hip hop, like any raps or whatever on the whole album. But obviously that that changed really quick because that's it's in me, it's part of me. So just came out like it did. So,
I think I
but yeah, I
started
was
that too
really
though.
really happy with it, man.
I think I started that
What do you
process
mean? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
because you
yeah,
let
yeah.
me
I know you
hear
did too, man.
you let me hear leaving. You were like, yeah, I'm gonna sample that song you did and I kind of redid the hook. I was like, let me hear that
Yeah,
joint.
yeah, yeah.
You were like, you sent it to me, and I was like, yep, getting on it. I was like, I got to get on that.
Yeah, it's your
You know,
fault. That's right. Because you said I got to get a verse on there.
I
So
was like, I got to get on that joint.
yeah, for anybody doesn't know that the song "Leaving" was inspired by this ridiculous joint that Cam released several years back. That like I mean that thing was on repeat for like days straight. Uh, I mean just the beat and the chorus and so I had kind of silently behind the scenes ganked it and then hit up Cam was like, hey, you mind if I use like the chorus you did for that song? Do you mind if I use that for something? You're like, no, yeah, that's cool, man. Go ahead. I was like, okay, I'll send you the track in a minute.
Oh, already did
like,
it.
like, all right. Ask for forgiveness, whatever that is. Easier to ask for forgiveness and permission. So,
Right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
man. So yeah, that's why at the beginning, like I just added that like a couple weeks before I even submitted the album to the distributor. I
Mhm.
added your clip from the beginning because I had it on, I had it loaded up in the program, but I had it on mute because I could never make it work before as far as for putting a little clip in there.
Uh-huh.
But after you obviously got a verse on there, so now you know it was like it just fit perfect. So
That's what's up. So which one would you
yeah,
say
man.
is actually, I guess like the motivation, like is there any particular track on here that kind of started it all? Put it that way.
Yeah, it was definitely Wake Up. That was
Hmm.
the first like R&B esque joint that I did. A lot of people, well, I don't know a lot of people, but some people know I had like a whole other project that I was working on. It was called Over Conquer.
Hmm.
Like I had even started doing some advertising and stuff for it on Facebook, on my website, social media. Um, but I had I'm just going to say it. I had a sort of a nasty split with the church that I had been at for like 20 years almost, I think, at that point.
Hmm.
And I couldn't listen to the album anymore because, I mean, like the tracks, the concepts, everything just reminded me of that past broken relationship. And it
Right.
was like it was too painful. I know it sounds whatever, but it really was, man. Like I couldn't listen to it. I was like, it just like literally stirred up those kind of hurtful, emotions that I had
Right.
tied to that. And accompanied with the fact that also found out that a leader of mine had uh, gone to my wife, not to me,
Mm.
and basically had said that I needed to get the music thing out of my system so I could see what God really wanted me to do. And that crushed me, man. I heard that and
Right.
I was
Because
like what?
right, because you
Like,
you gave yourself the musical ability, so it's something that you picked up on
yeah,
your own, and God had nothing to do with it. Like,
yeah,
I had to
yeah.
I had to kind of deal with the same thing, bro. Like um I actually quit music. I've quit music a few times. That's probably one reason why I'm
Yeah,
not
you
further
retired
along.
several times.
Yeah, I had like 9 retire. No, I know I quit a couple times. But I know one time it was
Yeah.
because it's like I got to. I'm not gonna say where I moved to, but I moved to this place and I was under this pastor, and he like immediately, like first he got mad because this girl that went to our church, she wanted to start doing YouTube videos, and so I actually produced a track for her, and she did like what is he called? I don't know, the Chris CCM. I don't know, the Christian music stuff with the guitar
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sounding
Contemporary
Bethel-ish.
Christian music.
Yeah, I don't know these categories, but so I did, because I had the studio stuff, and I let her record herself playing the drums. Actually, no, I actually ended up fingering the drums on the keyboard, but she played the guitar and sang and whatnot. And we put the video out on YouTube, and people were like, "Oh my God, this is nice!" And then the next thing I know, like I get this firm rebuke that I need to sit down and put music down and take the video down, and you need to be still for a season and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? But it's just like I was like, okay, it just zapped
Yeah.
everything out of me, man. And then, but I ended up leaving there, and it's like as soon as I left, I ended up in Tennessee, and I was just right back, doing music. And I think it was that was 2013. So 2014 is when I released like 3 mixtapes in the beginning of the year. It was crazy, man. Like
Yeah,
I
I
had got
remember.
back to
Like
music.
every month.
Yeah, I dropped Pieces of Me, then I dropped Gentleman Rap, and then I dropped one called the Jamla Application. So that was like 3 all in like
Jamla
January.
application. Yep.
Yeah, it was like all in like January.
Yeah.
December 2013, and then like January 2014 when I dropped those 3. And then at the end of 2014, I dropped The Fadeaway, and that was like 15, 20 tracks on that. I think that actually had like
It was
20
a
tracks.
Valentine's joint too that you did. That was that the next year.
I did a Valentine's one. Man, I
Yeah,
don't be
man.
remember. I've done 2. I don't, man,
It's
because
bad, man. I keep up with everybody else's music. People don't even keep up with their own music. You don't know how many people, you included, that will contact me and be like, "Hey, man, you got that album I did back in like 2012? It was called, whatever." And I'm like, yeah, I got it on the external hard drive. Let me send it to you. So
Yeah, I'm bad, man. I'm bad
yeah,
with that. But yeah, like I said,
yeah. Gentleman Rap was the one that had Leaving on there, right?
yep, that's the one that had Leaving on there,
Yeah, yeah,
and that
yep.
was yeah, that track was real for me though. It was like the culmination of every relationship that had failed in my life. So I
Yeah,
remember that was one of those joints where it's like I don't even remember writing it. It was like that thing was so natural. It was just like
really.
all the words like it happens occasionally. Like I have joints that I don't even remember writing because that it's like they were sitting there and I was like,
Yeah,
oh wow, okay, that's done. Let's see what's next. You
yeah.
know, and then I'm listening
You
to it
hear
and
that
I'm
after
making
the fact.
faces. Right. Then I'm sitting back listening to
Yeah.
it like,
Who
man,
was
I
that?
said that. Whew. You know, but
Yeah,
yeah, man. But I was saying all this because I can vouch for how broken relationships and stuff like that can attach you to, you know, when it's attached to your music, you know, it can be a sensitive subject.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So but it's because of what music is meant to do for the soul. You know what I mean? It has everything to do
yeah,
with edifying the soul. It edifies God and it edifies the soul. And it's meant to, like Paul said, and I think it's Ephesians and Colossians, it's meant to teach. So you're learning a lesson when
uh-huh.
you're hearing music, like because that's what it does. It instructs us. And people can say, you know, well, art imitates life, you know, but also art also can direct life. And I think that's a part that people don't get.
Yeah,
Art really can direct life. So it was good that you scrapped that project because you would have really just been kind of wounding yourself when you think about it. You know, like there's certain songs that I've done that
yeah,
I won't really I delete it. You know what I mean? Because I know what they do for me. And it's just like I don't need that vibe. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
So that's why you were able to write that verse for Leaving in like 5 minutes, because I
yeah.
think you had that thing back to me like quick. I was like, what? Like,
Oh, you're talking about for this
and
one.
you
Oh
had
yeah.
added, yeah, you had added drums, and you're like, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna add, you know.
Yeah. And that's one of those verses I didn't even write down at all. I sat there just listening
Yeah,
to I was sitting there working and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yes, I can relate. And then I hit you back. I was like, because I had recorded it on my phone. I was like, I got the verse. And I was like,
yeah,
let you
yeah.
hit it.
And you know what, man? Forgive me for taking like 3 years to put this album out, because I know I heard Eminem used a very similar metaphor on the I want room, but the outer space joint that you
Oh, wow.
use on the actual album. I heard he used that in a song. I can't remember if it was on the last album or the next last album, but he also used, it's like one or two metaphors that I have in the Undone track. So when I heard it, I was like, "Dadgummit!" Like, man,
Right.
like people are gonna think that I totally just, you know, because I
But you
took
know,
the I used the Tariq joint on Undone, where I'm talking about the roots. I mean,
mhm,
I say Black Thought and Tariq.
mhm.
A lot of people might not have caught that, but Tariq
but you
Slaughter, that's Black Thought's real name. So
But you know what that does? What that shows me, and if it's a, there's actually, it shows me to me how spiritual music is, simply because it lets you know like these are like ancient ideas really that we have. They're not just coming from us. They're not just our thoughts and experiences. Like we hear these things. You know what I mean? Like yeah, we think it's us, but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like the spirit realm kind of intertwining with our experiences. And because there's like I've seen
yeah,
instances where people who had gotten lawsuits for like copyright infringement who had never heard songs that they infringed on, like never heard the song. It was like I knew nothing
yeah,
about this song, and it's just like same melody, same theme, and that was just kind of crazy. And then
yeah.
I had somebody like wilding out on me. I'll never forget. This was like 2007, and I was doing secular rap then. And
Uh-huh.
this is when Nicki Minaj she hadn't blown up. She had just did like a mixtape with Lil Wayne, and
Who are you
basically
talking about?
Nicki Minaj, she
Nikki.
hadn't
Okay.
blown up. But my
Yeah.
boy called me. They called me and they were wilding out. It was like, oh my god. I was like, what? It was like Nicki Minaj. She heard your
She
music.
stole it.
Like she stole your bars. And I was like, what? It was like, yeah, she stole your bars. Now they had kind of a legit reason for thinking that because we actually
Uh-huh.
when we were in Detroit, we actually met some people in Lil Wayne's camp and gave them a demo. So
Yeah.
it's possible that that
Gotcha.
got
Okay.
floated around like in
Yeah.
a session. And so
Yeah.
that's what they were thinking happened, like that somebody heard my verse and was like, oh snap, and then they think Nikki heard it
Yeah.
because she did have like a rhyme scheme and a rhythm that was exactly like something that I had said in one of my songs. So
Yeah.
but for all I know, how do I know that she never heard it? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it
No,
really
I got
happens,
you.
man. You hear those similar ideas kind of float around. But
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you said that because so many of the like concepts or even hooks for the album for Minus Love, like I literally woke up in the morning with just like in my head, like the falling in love joint.
mhm.
That's, I mean, that's it's not a true story. It's just something that popped in my head. Like I literally woke up one morning and that was in my head, and I came into my little studio kid cave. Like I can't call it a man cave because all the toys. So
Putting the Mortal Kombat 2 in the deck.
that's right. That's right. You don't want none.
Well,
But
I'm
anyway,
coming.
yeah. So I literally just came in and like made the entire beat, recorded the hook, and had the verses written like almost instantly. And I was just like, I don't know where it came from. It just hit me,
Mm.
and very similar. Like Alicia could tell you, I wake up in the middle of the night and I'll be on my phone just writing down like some idea that just hit me out of nowhere while I was asleep or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's almost kind of, I don't want to say it writes itself, but like you were saying, it definitely is something more to it than just our own thoughts and talents and ability. Because half of that stuff, like you said, I'll hear and be like, oh, that's hot. Like who came up with that? I didn't write that. Where'd that come from?
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
So you already know my favorite joint on the track on the album is My Precious Everything. So let's see. Having a moment here. Just kind of looking over the
I wrote that. I
track
wrote that
list.
in the parlor, by the way.
In the where?
Hold on one second. Put my AirPods out. All right, you hear me?
Yep. Loud and clear.
I told you, man. I literally I have the first generation AirPods, and they die within what's it been 30 minutes? That's crazy. I swear Apple has a kill switch
Right.
that they
Kill it. He
release
needs to get
something
new
new.
stuff. He needs to get new stuff. Kill it. Slow it down.
So I can't hear you at all now. I don't know if you can hear me. All I hear is blah, 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 like robots.
Oh wow. No?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can hear you, but it sounds like mad distorted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you. Okay,
All
so
right.
just I guess we'll get ready to close it out here shortly. Just kind of tell everybody where they can get the album, your social media outlets and whatnot, where they can follow you and et cetera.
Cannot hear you.
Oh wow.
I love technology.
Well, just take the earbuds out.
No, I just hear like a bunch of clipping noise. Can you hear me normal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you normal. Just take them out. I guess just use the phone, the speaker, the phone.
Hold on one.
Okay, well, he dipped out there trying to, I guess, correct whatever technical issue we are having. Hopefully we're having back on in just a moment. As you can see, it's just very conversational. That is my brother from another. We've been friends for, as you guys know, if you've been watching, for 21 years, and I've watched him grow and flourish. He's actually a very talented music producer. He has collaborated probably with over 50, 60 people. You can find a lot of his stuff on iTunes. A lot of people have had their stuff mixed and mastered professionally by him. And it is high grade quality professional stuff if you've ever heard it. Still waiting for him to come back. I guess he's trying to log back into the studio. But yeah, so if you want to support this podcast, you can go to anchor.fm/CamCast radio, and you can hit one of the support options there. You can also cash at me at CLouSound, and I'm also available on YouTube. You can subscribe there at Silu Sound as well. Okay, he's back on. Let's see how this is going to go. All right, hello?
And we're back.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah. I switched phones. I don't know if it was, I don't know. See, I started talking about Apple and the kill switch, and next thing you know, my iPhone's not working no more. I don't know. I'm just
It's conspiracies.
So what I was saying though, I don't know how much of it got picked up, was that I literally wrote MPE. I had taken my wife to a tattoo parlor she got this tattoo on her forearm.
Was it a Jesus?
It was. Stop.
I don't condone that, buddy.
So it was of it represented being free. It was it's like a young girl with her arms out and a bunch of like doves or something flying off of her to represent freedom. As a whole, big story behind it. But anyway, she was getting that, and I had the beat in my earpods or whatever, and was actually writing it while I was sitting next to her. She was getting her tattoo, so that's where that one came from.
Yeah, that's like I said, hands down, that's probably my favorite one. I really like Wake Up though. My part, Leaving, of course. Especially it's a dude on there that comes in. It's pretty nice.
Kills it, man. Kills it.
But yeah, it's a great project. I think it's a very creative way to express though, and this is what I really wanted to get at, because the journey that I've been on, because my journey,
Yes, sir.
I was Christian rap. I first of all, like I tell people all the time, I didn't even want to do it. God told me I was going to do it, and I remember laughing at him, but I ended up doing it. But went to the military, and the only reason why I started rapping in the military is funny stories, because I saw some dudes freestyling, and I was like, nope, y'all are no good.
What?
And I went over there and crushed them. I probably couldn't do it now. I haven't freestyled in a long time.
That's funny.
But back then, because you know how it was back in the day. We used to be like, come on, you got to freestyle. And you'd be like, nope.
Yeah. You remember, I used to say, I don't know if you remember this, but because you and Jarrell, y'all used to freestyle all the time. And y'all be like, come on, E. I'm like, nah, man, I'm afraid I'm going to cuss or say something stupid.
That's what man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, still not my strong suit, man. Me and my son will kind of go at it in the car, battling each other, just being silly. Get my daughter involved, but outside of that, nope. Not happening. So,
but yeah, no, what I was getting at though, like the concept of expressing God and the love of God, but without being overt. You know what I mean? But if you know, then you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of what it is. It's like, okay, like I get what he's saying, and that's the vibe that I get throughout the whole album. And that's kind of like where I am musically though now. Now I don't try to focus so much on being a Christian gospel artist. Like I'm not trying to do that, because I am who I am. God who he is in me. I can get on anybody track. You're gonna hear it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to try. Like even with the Leaving, like the concepts were there, but it was relatable. You know what I mean? Same thing with the album. It's like you're not trying to be, because I just would say so many people have kind of failed at being
relatable.
There you go. Like actually talking to people without talking at people.
Well, that's the whole concept of the album, because like, I'll be honest, I'll go back and listen to some of my old stuff, and I don't know if other people feel the same way that I do, but when I hear it, I feel like it's very like kind of judgmental, like what you said, kind of talking at people instead of talking to them. And just literally just today before we got on the podcast, I looked up that 1 Corinthians 13, and I was like, dang, like that's exactly where I was at. Like, I had all the faith in the world. I had all the biblical, knowledge. Obviously I hadn't arrived, and we're never going to arrive, but I thought I knew a little something, but I wasn't, I don't feel like I was really showing love. And so that was kind of the whole thing behind the new album. So, and plus too, so much of the stuff before is just like, you're just smacking people in the head with the Bible, as opposed to, getting on their level where you can actually relate to them and letting
Right.
people know that we experience stuff too, man. Because I was at a place where it was like, oh, you can't say, what bad happened to you. No, that's not faith. You're
Right.
speaking what you want to happen and what's going to happen. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, but like I legit went through this. Like I legit went through depression. And
Right.
you were talking earlier about leaving. Like that's that actually is a real life song. When Alicia heard it, Alicia's my wife. I love you, baby. When she
Please
heard it,
don't let him get in trouble.
when she heard that song, she was like, I wonder where that came from. I was like, well, I mean, come on, it's a good song though, right? So
Works.
we'll be I'm gonna be on the couch tonight, bro. This December we'll have been married for 20 years. And I mean, that's nothing but the grace of God that has kept us married, to survive that long,
Right.
And I'm not talking about me surviving her. I'm talking about, it's reciprocal. I'm not the easiest person in the world to live with and get along with, and, vice versa. So she
Right.
knows that. We have that conversation probably more often than we should. But yeah, I really felt like, especially in gospel music, we don't talk about a lot of that. I mean, about relationships or, because
Right.
some of the songs that somebody was giving me a hard time was like, yeah, I probably can't listen to your new album because I'm not married. And I'm sure it's like a married folk album. And I'm like, no, I got some like breakup songs and songs for people that are single or whatever. So, it's I tried to cover the whole gamut. So not just,
Yeah. And
us
that's
old.
what I like too. Like there is
Yeah.
like a broad spectrum of topics. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
then
sir.
like I know you said you pulled that last song "Slow Down" from somewhere else, but like it was like the
Yeah.
perfect culmination though. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like it tied everything together.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, okay, like it really worked. It really worked, and I
Yeah.
like the album, and I look forward to like more stuff like that. Like I said, because for me, like coming out the military, when God was like, go back, and I was like, I don't even see how I could rap Christian no more. Because like you said, I went back over the old catalog and was like, geez. I was like, I had Bible Hadoukens and Bible Hadoukens and spiritual tiger uppercuts. Like it was killing folks. Remember that Ready to Die joint? You ready to die? What if I made you get in the box, tied you up, pulled the lid down, and seal you with locks? It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That
was like the Wu-Tang version of I keep
feeding
you and feeding you.
Yeah, that one was terrible. But I remember God was just like, just talk to him, and like my whole style changed. Like I used to be more verbose, and it's like I learned how to say more with less.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And just like now, it's almost like it's so ingrained in me now. I can't get into it's what I do. Like where people get involved in the artistic flex kind of side of it. I'm no longer, even though it can be artistic, I'm more so about people understanding me than anything. Like that's because to me it's like, why say anything if you're not going to understand me? Like, oh, that was tight. He said hypothalamus on the valgus with the shallicus of the malic, and it's like, and you going crazy like, oh, he's rhyming all these words, and it's like, and said what? You know what I mean? And it hits you where? Like it hit you here, and you got excited and hype, but like I want to say stuff that you gonna remember I said. You know what I mean? Because it sticks with you because of where you are in life. And that's what I think, like I said, this album spoke a lot to me. Like MPE, I'm not going to go into too much detail into why it's good. Like it's like I was in Family Dollar the other day, just like for real, singing out loud, store clerk looking at me, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my precious energy. Just having a good time. But it's just like, that's the kind of freedom we need to be able to have, though, as Christians. Like, you should be able to, it's kind of like Song of Solomon. You should be able to sing a song about the one you love and express that, because we know where it comes from. You know what I mean?
We should be able to celebrate my wife and my marriage and my, the ups and downs, and the fact that we're still standing. So
Right. Awesome.
yeah, man.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Slow Down. You were talking about too. That was from the last project that I say scrapped, and I told somebody the other day, I said it was lost, and he was like, "Well, it's not lost if you still sending me the songs from it." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." So it might. My wife just commented on the video. I don't even want to click on that. I might do like a sneak drop one Friday where it'll just be out there and no fanfare or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that song was part of the last album, but my buddy Lee, big shout out to Lee, had come through. Lee Williams had come through and played the keyboard at the end of it. He's doing the strings and the piano and all that stuff. He did it in like one take, I think, and he didn't like the way he was like, I could do a little bit tighter and do one more, but I just knew it fit the whole vibe of the album. And like I was telling you, I didn't even put that on the album until like a week or two before I submitted the final joint to the distributor, because I was like, something's missing, and that was what it was, because it was like when it clicked in me that needed to be on there, it made perfect sense as far as for the rest of the album, because I'm talking going through ups and downs of relationships, and then ultimately bring it back to well, maybe if we would stop, slow down, and take a look at what we need to be looking at, then brings everything into perspective. So
yeah, man, that's what I said. Like it was the perfect. I was like, it's like I felt that finale. Like, yo, that's
nice.
That's the end. That's like nice. That's tight. Awesome. So where tell everybody where they can get the album, where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, it's my social media, like all of them is E.Quipped Music. So facebook.com/E.Quipped Music, Twitter, Instagram, all of them are literally E.Quipped Music. Spelled without the dot, because like my name, E.Quipped or whatever, it's not spelled like that because you can't have the dot in there. So everything is just E.Quipped Music. YouTube, like literally all of them. But the album is available everywhere. It's iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. I mean, it should be everywhere by now. And you were talking a minute ago about lyrics, and I wanted to mention that the lyrics, like the synced lyrics, should be everywhere as well. So if anybody doesn't catch something that I'm saying or wants to follow along, that was super important to me to make sure that I had all that uploaded right, and so.
Okay. So that because I found something I know there's like on YouTube, there's like the topic. I don't know what channel that is, but everybody has like a topic.
Yeah,
it's like topic E.Quipped Music.
It should all be merged as one now, because they just started doing the especially like I'm with DistroKid, and they have like the official artist channel. You just have to claim it. You have to go in and prove that that's you. And once you do, they actually merge all your stuff. So if you just go to youtube.com/E.Quipped Music, it's going to pull up even the ones that just says like topic E.Quipped. It's got it all merged in there. It was kind of sweet because the way that they did the album, they actually had they got the video of my part like at number 6 or 7 or whatever number it is. They have that instead of the audio, like, with the Minus Love album cover. So it made me feel official, because I know like when I'm going through listening to people's albums sometimes on the internet, and then the video pops up in the middle, I'm like, I don't want to hear the video, the talking and stuff at the beginning. But when I saw mine, I was like, okay, like, yeah, it worked. So yeah, get your artist channel. So yeah, you'll probably have like 300, 400 songs pop up when you claim yours. It's gonna merge it all together. We found 800.
Because a lot of my stuff
from CDs. So
because a lot of that stuff I pulled off the internet like a long time ago. Like I pulled it off, so that's why I couldn't find anything. Like I got it.
Yeah, if y'all want it, hit me up, DM me. I'll send you all the
all the old CDs.
I'll get y'all the bootleg cam.
Look, it's all bootleg. If you got it, it's bootleg now, because I mean, it's all bootleg.
I got the unreleased. I got the unreleased Remnant Flame project from you and Sparks and me and a March On.
Wow. Man, you took it back. But speaking of Remnant Flame, though, we about to do some stuff. I'm putting it out there.
Okay. You're calling me out.
I'm
live.
calling you out. Hold you to
Documented.
your word. Right.
Documented
Exactly.
proof. So yeah,
That's
man.
what's up.
Yes, sir.
But all right, man. It's been cool having you on. It's been a pleasure, man.
Man,
Just like
it's
I
an
said.
honor. I greatly appreciate you even thinking about, having me on. So.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. So if you haven't already, I would go and check this album out. You can check it out on YouTube, sample it, then go get it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever, man. Support local artists. I think it's funny that we only support them till they blow up. It's like, oh, I can't buy his stuff till he blows up. When he gets on TV, we'll go buy it. What sense does that make? Help us get there. Help us get there. Go buy the album.
Of buying, like I actually have a limited amount of hard copies still too for anybody that still rocks with CDs. So I don't have a store or anything. People just DM me and I get it in the mail within 24 hours. So if anybody wants a CD, let me know.
And I'm coming to get. I might be able to pick up mine tomorrow.
Oh yeah. You say you're supposed to be.
Yeah. I'm
man.
coming through on the way out.
I will be
I'm gonna
around.
come check you out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Come play with my action figures.
I ain't gonna have time. I had to hit the road, bro. All right, it's been real.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Check us out next time on CamCast Radio Live.
All right, buddy.
Yep.